eventful and very event where we are talking about culture today, we talk about experience today, and certainly we are talking about some major honor that one of us and our own president, past president, has received. So today we have Miss Anjuna Shinoda here, and we are launching a book. But the good part of the book, of course, book is written in Hindi, but is the story of the lady here, the author lady over here, and how this got integrated. She is a Punjabi, right? If I mistake not, in Gujarat, meeting a researcher from Japan in Gujarat, and then researcher and this Punjabi lady meeting each other, and then the story goes on. And that is what is captured in a very well written, short, crisp book. And I was reading it in Hindi, but then I got quite involved, and that book is something which I would recommend that everybody reads, because it's the title Anju Ki Japan Diary that we can see, and then that starts the beginning, and then how the cultural aspects. The book is written in a very nice language also, so you get feeling that you get involved when actually feel the experience while reading the book. So that's the important part. And of course, this book launch is an important event today. We are the second part of the event. We have our Mukesh Bhai, who is honored as honorary consul of Japan, which is a major achievement. And I'm coming to that after the launch. Once again, I would certainly want to like to talk more about Mukesh Bhai and what we have been experiencing, witnessing. So Japan Cultural Center and Ahmedabad Management Association, they have been doing many events together. This is one of that event where we have seen so much of Japanese in the town. I think there are more than 60, 70 expats in the town also, and so many Japanese companies in Gujarat also. And thus, this cultural connect is there. As AMA, we have been witnessing, seeing this Japan in India cultural connect. We have been seeing the friendship also, and so many guests coming to us and generally giving something, whether it will be in terms of something in terms of knowledge, or even we have language teachers that we have got from Japan. We have got the Japanese center, and if you have not visited, I would recommend you must visit the Japanese center also at AMA. So very important program today, and thank you both the author as well as our Mukesh Bhai to agree to be coming on the same day for this event. I would certainly want to launch the book and invite the author herself to give us the perspective, what the went through in terms of what motivated her in writing the book, and of course the story also in nutshell, to the extent that everybody is curious enough to read the book in full as sooner than later. So certainly we will first launch the book today and then take the event further. And of course, before that, I must do the important part of introducing the author, Mrs. Sanjana Shinoda, born in 1963 in Rajasthan. So there's one more angle. A Punjabi lady born in Rajasthan and in Gujarat, and now, of course, in Tokyo. Married Japanese man in 1988. She was blessed with 3 daughters, teaches English and enjoys hot springs, local tours, and Japan cuisine in Japan. She used to teach Japanese and cooking at Ahmedabad Management Association. This was about 10 years back, I think, Miss Shinoda. I think about 10 years back that she was teaching the cooking at Ahmedabad also, Ahmedabad Management Association, when she was in Ahmedabad. So we welcome Madam Miss Anjana Shinoda with this beautiful frame, Madam. That's Ahmedabad and Tokyo, and they have we done the picture where Ahmedabad and Tokyo is how the artist has put into a frame. So thanks for coming. So I'll invite Mrs. Shinoda to talk about her. But before that, we must launch the book, please. I must not break the sequence, right? And Mukesh Bhai, small bhai. Mrs. Shinoda, over to you. You would like to speak from there or wherever you're comfortable. You have a microphone here. You have a outside.
First of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलती हूँ क्योंकि बुक मेरी हिंदी में लिखी है. जैसे अभी आप सर ने बताई दिया है मेरी हिस्ट्री कि मैं राजस्थान में पढ़ी हुई हूँ और गुजरात में मिले फिर और जापान पहुँच गई. तो मैंने इस किताब में यही लिखा है, अपनी छोटी सी अपनी लाइफ की जर्नी वो मैंने बताई है, इसलिए अंजू की डायरी है. ये मैंने पहली बार लिखा है, इसलिए मैं कोई राइटर नहीं हूँ कि मेरी वहाँ की लाइफ कैसे रही. औरतों की जब बोलते हैं, लड़कियों की लाइफ जो है वो कितनी बार चेंज होती है जब शादी करते हैं, और मेरी तो बिल्कुल भी अलग देश में हुई थी, इसलिए वहाँ का कल्चर और सब कुछ अलग था. तो क्या बोलते हैं, जिस मतलब मैं इस देश में रही हूँ 25 साल तक, तो बहुत अच्छा अपना जीवन था. बचपन का सेफ्टी, कोई चिंता करने की बात नहीं है. बड़े हो गए, एंजॉय किया, लेकिन जो ग्रोथ की है मैंने वो मेरे को जापान से मिली है. कि वहाँ पे बोलते हैं एक वर्ड है, उसका जापानीज में बोलते हैं उसको कुकियो योमु. कुकियो योमु मीन्स रीड एयर, मीन्स एटमॉस्फेयर आप देखो और वैसे ही अकॉर्डिंगली बात करो, चलो रहो. तो वो सब जो सीखा है वो जापान ने मेरे को सिखाया है. तो मैं जब भी यहाँ पे आती थी, तो क्योंकि मेरे हस्बैंड जो हैं उन्होंने यहीं से रिसर्च किया हुआ है और रिसर्च वर्क के लिए हमेशा आते थे. उनके फ्रेंड्स वगैरह, मेरे भैया भी यहाँ बैठे हुए हैं. तो और मैं उसी हिसाब से यहाँ पे आके जापानीज़ भी सिखाया करती थी. तो दोनों संस्कृति के बारे में मेरे को अच्छी तरह से मालूम है, इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि मेरे को 35 साल हो गए वहाँ रहते हुए. आजकल यहाँ पे कंपनियाँ भी बहुत ज़्यादा आ गई हैं, सब मेरे से लैंग्वेज भी सीखते हैं. लेकिन लैंग्वेज तो आप कहीं से भी सीख सकते हैं, जो सही में उनका कल्चर सीखना है वो अलग होता है. वहाँ रहेंगे तभी आपको मालूम चलेगा कि आपको वहाँ के बिजनेस डील्स कैसे करनी है, या वहाँ रहना कैसा है, खान पीना कैसा है, लोगों से कैसे बात करनी है. तो ये उन लोगों के लिए है जो जापान में या सर्विस करना चाहते हैं या रहना चाहते हैं. उनके लिए ये अच्छा रहेगा, क्योंकि मैंने अपने नज़रिए से देखा है कि एक चाहे वो भारतीय नारी हो या कोई भी हो, उसको वहाँ रहने में कौन कौन सी सुविधाएं अच्छी लगती हैं और कौन कौन सी मुश्किल जो है वो सामने आती हैं. वही मैंने इसमें लिखा है. तो उनकी जो है कई बातें तो बहुत अच्छी लगती हैं, जैसे डिसिप्लिन है, और आपने एक इकिगाई भी नाम सुना होगा. मेरे हस्बैंड जो है वो इकिगाई हैं. इसलिए हम दोनों की थोड़ी ज़्यादा बनती नहीं, क्रैश होता है. क्योंकि उनका पूरी लाइफ जो है अपने उसमें निकल गई है, और मैं वहाँ पे अपने बच्चों को देखना और ये और वो, बस उनका जो काम है वो इकिगाई है. तो मतलब जापानीज जो होंगे टिपिकल वो इकिगाई होते हैं. तो ये मैंने बातें इसके अंदर लिखी हैं. अगर आप ये पढ़ेंगे तो आपको सबको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा, और अगर आप बाद में आप कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं मेरे से तो पूछ सकते हैं. धन्यवाद. इतना काफ़ी है, कुछ और? अरिगातो गोजाइमासिता. इन जापानीज अरिगातो गोजाइमासिता.
So certainly, after listening to the lady, my voice also goes down. How polite! That's what we have to learn. We are discussing two things: the discipline, the politeness of the Japanese culture. And I remember of one story that somebody told me, that two people in a village, they were crossing. They were in the mid of the night. They were on the road. They had to cross the road, and then there was no traffic at all. Road was to be crossed, and then one fellow said that let us cross the road. He says, no, the zebra crossing is 100 meters further. Let us go to zebra crossing and cross the road. The fellow says, there's no traffic whatsoever. We are in the mid of the night. We have to go right there. We'll have to come back. He says, no, we will have to go to zebra crossing and then cross the road. And the other fellow was curious. He said, why are you doing this today? We are wasting time maybe, and then we are not bothering anybody. So he says, you do not know from which window some child is looking at you. And thus, as they say in Japan, it takes a village to raise a child. So that, and then he would learn that you can cross from otherwise than the zebra. So there's this cultural aspect of Japanese is something certainly, and discipline and politeness. Of course, this lady turns so much. I will have to learn that also, and that the bend, and that would be, I think, a good exercise for all of us also as much, right? So thank you once again. It's certainly a pleasure. It is certainly a privilege. She was also our teacher at AMA, that we had both two ways, one cooking as well as the language also. And such a pleasure to launch a book and publish a book which would give a perspective of Japanese. Coming to the second part, a very important part, Mukesh Bhai is conferred honorary consul of Japan, and this is one of a kind of, as I can understand and I can gather. So certainly a big applause first, sir. Sir, we have a surprise for you also. No, we are surprise coming up sooner. And wait a minute for just a minute. The surprise coming in. But important to tell here before, I'm asked to introduce Mukesh Bhai now. I don't know whether that makes sense at all. Who will not know Mukesh Bhai is the point. And so it doesn't make sense because introduction is not required, but because who will not know. But apart from that, this is something which has happened first time in the last 75 years, 72 years in India. Not only that, we have been seeing the effort, or rather, I would not call it effort, but that friendship that Mukesh Bhai has been part of between India, Japan, and so many events that have happened because of the friendship also, and because of his commitment, because of his involvement, and that this is something which was anybody and everybody would say that very, very highly deserved a position, but certainly a huge achievement that we are so very happy that at AMA, our past president, of course, and of course to all of us, a close friend also. So let us now that put on that surprise, and this is a surprise of 7 decades into 7 minutes, sir. So 7 decades of something captured in 7 minutes.
Mukesh Patel is a multi-talented leader, and he has been enriching various aspects of lives of Gujarat with his foresight and unceasing courage. Mr. Mukesh Patel has had a warm relationship with Japan since his childhood days when he was a student. He was selected for the second year of the student exchange program between Gujarat University and Otemon Gakuin University, Osaka, Japan. This is one of the longest running student exchange programs in the world. It was October 1972. He was 18 years old. Mr. Umashankar Joshi was the Vice Chancellor. He stayed on campus and studied the people of the beautiful country, their lifestyle, science, art, commerce, economy, and Japanese culture.
Highly inspired after his return from Japan as an exchange student in 1972, Mr. Mukesh Patel nurtured the dream to light a torch for lasting Indo-Japanese bonds. This cherished desire took concrete shape in 1975 when, at the young age of 21, he founded the Indo-Japan Friendship Association, Gujarat. Having visited Japan over 30 times, he has played a key role as standing counsel.
As the Chief Minister of Gujarat, Mr. Narendra Modi visited Japan for the first time in 2007 and was impressed with the Japanese culture. He expressed to Mr. Patel that I want to make Gujarat a mini Japan. This slogan became the new focal point for the progress of the organization. To achieve the goal of strengthening the relationship between the two countries, Mr. Patel suggested to the Chief Minister ABC, that is, academic, business, and cultural, in order to fulfill the need of the business or commercial front government of Gujarat took over the business part and requested IJFA to take the responsibility for the academic and cultural fronts. This strategy was successful and Japan became the first partner country in the first Vibrant Summit in January 2009. The Japan Festival started with Vibrant Summit, having held the team of AMA and many other organizations as president. Mr. Patel had a roadmap ready in his mind to accelerate the activities. During his tenure as president of AMA, Mr. Patel created and developed the state-of-the-art facility, which later became a permanent address of India's first and unique Japan centers and Japan festivals. In memory of the founding president of IJFA, late Sri Jaikrishna Harivallabh Das, his family contributed to launch Jaikrishna Harivallabh Das AMA Center for promoting Indo-Japan relations. In 2014, Mitsubishi India Incorporation extended its hand to support and develop the organization's activity as a part of its social responsibility initiative. And in January 2015, the Japan Information and Study Center AMA was launched. It has state-of-the-art library with more than 1,000 books related to various subjects, along with 8 high-tech e-learning workstations with more than 500 audiovisual materials, an informative advanced digital touchscreen encyclopedia called Niponika. Mr. Patel has also played a key role in promoting the Yogo Gujarat sister state and Kobe Ahmedabad sister city relationship and its setting up the Zen Garden and Kaizen Academy at AMA. The governor of Yogo, Mr. Ido, took special interest and invited 2 young women architects to Japan for architectural training, gifted the shipment of 3 million yen of traditional Awaji tiles and sent to Ahmedabad for designing various elements. The Zen Kaizen at AMA is the symbol of friendship between India and Japan, and in combination of simplicity and modernity. The Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, said that IJFA has done a lot to energize the relationship between India and Japan. The Zen Garden is a symbol of self-discovery and expression of inner peace. It is a symbolic example of Japanese art, culture, landscape, and architecture. Under the leadership of Mr. Patel, the project of Japanese Zen Garden and Kaizen Academy completed fruitfully, even under the circumstances of COVID-19. For nurturing Japan-India friendly relations, the Japan Cultural Center was launched on 23rd June 2023, which is inspired by Srimati Paru Murugesh Jaikrishna. Japan centers at AMA have enjoyed a unique recognition of goodwill over the years through pioneering the vision and mission of making Gujarat the mini Japan of India. Mr. Patel, as the president of IJFA and the mastermind of the entire mission, inspired and attracted many Japanese artists and businessmen. The Japan Festival has become the brand at AMA. Cultural programs such as live music, dance, drama, puppetry, live demonstrations of calligraphy, origami, karate, Japanese cooking, kimono wearing have been welcomed by thousands of visitors. Apart from the Japan Festival, an exhibition of Japanese beauty captured by Mr. Patel's camera was organized in 2015 under the name of Colorful Japan. On the occasion of Golden Jubilee of his friendship with Japan in 2022, Mr. Patel created a beautiful calendar, Inspirations from Japan.
Distinguished honor of the Order of the Rising Sun, gold rays with rosette, has been conferred by the Emperor of Japan on Mr. Mukesh Patel, President of the Indo-Japan Friendship Association.
On February 23rd, the birthday of Emperor of Japan, which is celebrated as National Day, Mr. Mukesh Patel was announced as the Honorary Consul of Japan in India. Japanese officials said that this does not create a new position but recognizes the contribution of an individual. Shri Mukesh Patel is the first Indian who has been appointed as the Honorary Consul of Japan in India. His appointment for a 5-year term has been made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Japan, and the same came to be announced by the Consul General of Japan in Mumbai, Dr. Yasukata Fukahori, and the Ambassador of Japan, Mr. Hiroshi Suzuki. His appointment as an honorary consul of Japan in India for a period of 5 years is a matter of pride for the entire nation.
Excellent. So that says a little brief about the huge. This story could have been in hours, sir, but certainly a matter of such a proud, such a privilege that we feel that we have Mukesh Bhai, whom we can call as our own. So Mukesh Bhai is a past president. For the sake of introduction again, as a protocol more than anything else. Past president, Ahmedabad Management Association, international tax consultant. He is an eminent personality of the town and nation, well known for his passion for Indo-Japan relationship and being a catalyst for many social educational institutions for nurturing them. He has been a person who everything that he does it with an edge, with a style, and of course at the topmost. So he's a leader, whether he is a tax consultant, whether he is a blood donor, Red Cross, his leadership, whether, of course, putting the institution and many institutions like Ahmedabad Management Association and the contribution, the Japan relationship that he would have done, and I would say many others. To maybe one thing that was his photography also. We would long to look at his photography also. So certainly we look forward to having and hearing from Mukesh Bhai. Before that, Mukesh Bhai, you have been a bridge between Japan, India. So here there is one a memento, which is a bridge that we would like to, give you as a token of love. You have been a bridge for many things. Sir, very keen to listen from you and your thoughts, your views in your style.
Konbanwa. Good evening, as they say. Of course, I cannot speak as many languages as you, Anju-san, because you speak Punjabi, bit of Marwari too, having lived in Rajasthan, Gujarati, Japanese, Hindi, English. So it's not less than a sixer. Well, first and foremost, Sawan Bhai, Mohal Bhai, and so many dear friends, past presidents of AMA, my colleagues at the Indo-Japan Friendship Association. Very honestly, I am very deeply touched, Sawan Bhai. Thank you so much. The surprise you gave me was a real surprise, no questions about it, because it brought up 52 years of my memories. It revived from the Otomon Gakuin University, as you said, and when I saw Dr. Umashankar Joshi's picture, remember, yes, Umashankar Bhai was the Vice Chancellor under whose tenure I was selected, and that was the second year, a very important landmark year of the beginning of the Indo-Japan Student Exchange Program. And just imagine, see, Gujarat has several records to its credit, but way back in 1972, nobody would have thought that a day is going to come when we would have more than 150 Japanese companies in Gujarat. Because that was a time, I remember in 1972, એમ કહેતા કે જો તમારે કોઈ જાપાનીઝ ने जोआ होय, you want to see, दो जापानीज चेहरे देखने हैं तो 1 साल के लिए रुकना पड़ता था. क्यों? क्योंकि जो हमारे 2 एक्सचेंज स्टूडेंट्स आते थे, they were the only 2 Japanese you could possibly see during the whole year. See, that was what it was, way back in the 70s. Today, our dear friend from the Japanese Association is here, and Koichi-san, Nakamura-san. You will agree, we have in Gujarat, close to, I think before COVID, we had a record number of over 500 Japanese residents living in Ahmedabad. Not to talk about visitors. When we have vibrant, they come in large numbers. When you take various delegations, they come in hundreds. But there are 500 plus Japanese living here in Gujarat. 150 plus Japanese companies. And the bonding between the two, as was very apparently mentioned, Unmesh Bhai, I must also thank you for your very lovely, affectionate voice. And I must thank both Malti-ben and Dhara-ben for, I know, you gave me a surprise, but there's no secret. From where the surprise came, I know very well. And of course, my very dear friend Mukund, because when these 3 of them, they get together, they can connive anything. And of course, it's so wonderful because I was talking to Rohit Bhai, Divesh Bhai, and others. I must thank you. You've given me a few of your minutes to use because you were very crisp. So I will, of course, within the time frame, but ensure that I can say something. And while I'm here on this forum of AMA, I want to say how valuable this partnership has been. In fact, Samanbhai, when I think of, the honorary consulship conferred on me, I think along with my contribution through the Indo-Japan Friendship Association, which is almost going to be 50 years very soon. I returned back from Japan in 72 and so deeply impressed. I'm going to talk a couple of things about that. Anjanaji, it is in sync with what so many things you have written in your book. Of course, you have made a permanent Indo-Japan Friendship Association in your family. That's what I say. For me, of course, I'll share some of those nostalgic moments. But when I look at the relationship, and as you rightly said, Savanbhai, it all started from, the 2007-8 was a turning point when Chief Minister Narendra Modi ji, he visited Japan for the first time. And I think he was perhaps as thrilled as I was in 1972. Because when I returned, I said to myself, I want to do something. And I was fortunate. My founder, President Jai Krishna Bhai, founder, Vice President Kanchan Bhai, and we all got together. And we founded the Indo-Japan Friendship Association. I was a student when that happened. But and Mohal Bhai, you'll be very happy to know that our association was our Triputi, as we were called. We were together until the last of Jai Krishna Bhai when he passed away in 2001. So for 26 long years, we were together. Then we had Kanchan Bhai taking over 4 more years. And then, of course, from 2004-5, the mantle has been on me. But as I said, the turning point was 2007-8 when Narendra Bhai came back from Japan. And as was mentioned here, when And by a sheer happy coincidence, Ambassador Domici, who you saw in 2009, he was ambassador, he recently visited us. And I met him in December, and he was so thrilled to know that in those 14, 15 years since he came here first, because it's exactly in 2009 that we started our first Japan festival. And it's been 15 eventful years. So out of the 50 years, 15 years has been this very strong. And that is the most vibrant patch. I distinctly recall Narendra Bhai came and we met and he said, Mukesh, we want to do something with Japan. I believe, and these are the words as was mentioned, I want to make Gujarat, the mini Japan of India. Sir, I said, that's exactly our vision also. But if we partner together, as they call a public-private partnership, so with the government of Gujarat and the AMA Indo-Japan together, we said the ABC, as you mentioned, academic, business, cultural. Let the government do the business part, the Vibrant Gujarat summits and everything. And the academic and cultural, we will take over. And ever since, we've not looked behind. In these 15 years, because of COVID, if we exclude those years, we've had 11 Japan festivals. And I think this is some record nobody can beat. 5 Japan centers on this campus. And everybody is in awe. And sometimes this kind of a partnership, it is very rare because AMA is you can say, the entire infrastructure where we have had one of the best Japan centers, right from Madame Aki Abe to you name the Japanese dignitaries, delegations, ambassadors, consul generals, governors. Each one of them have come here and they have enjoyed every moment. The record that we have, and I'm so happy that Mukund maintains an excellent, archive record of everything that has happened. And people are stunned that, you have, but then we say that when it's in AMA and Indo-Japan together, because the strong infrastructure, the body and the mind is AMA. And the moving spirit, the heart, the vibrant heart, the soul, is the Indo-Japan Association. And this partnership, I think, I have been told, and I can say with all modesty, because we have so many of our past presidents. I was reminding Rohit Bhai, the very first center, Japan Center, came up. And that was, the first contribution was as big as the largest contribution for AMA had ever received then. And since then, we've never looked back, whether it was the cultural center, whether it was the Kaizen Academy supported by Yatindra Bhai, my dear friend, whatever you call it, we've had unstinted support from one and all. That helped us create the Japan Center, and we have had the Zen Kaizen at AMA. And friends, we've been very fortunate, the graphic design. My dear friend Nilesh Bhai is, I always remember him for that. And many others for the creative contributions that they have put in setting all this up. Even Hiren Patel, and they've done it out of absolutely selfless love, not charged a penny. Architects who would otherwise run their, bill machines in millions, they've just done it for love and affection. So today, there's so many names that come across my mind. So across the journey, I think they've played a pivotal role. I met Anjana-san for the very first time at our Japan festival when you had undertaken, in fact, before that, when you were teaching Japanese language there way back in Punjabi Hall, when I was president in my initial term, and then you continued. But over 10 Japanese cooking classes. And like her, so many of them have been associated with us. Friends, I want to tell just one or two things which are so touching. You mentioned about the Japanese, their outstanding traits, and you're absolutely right. The Japanese culture, the values, I think the values the Japanese have inculcated in their personalities and in their life, they come from their childhood. And I want to share a couple of things way back from my first visit to Japan in 1972. I distinctly recall, as part of our stay there during the 8 weeks we were there, we used to go to various families for homestay, and we were at the university campus. We would visit industries, schools, institutions. We were to visit a school in the morning. We went there, and this is what I saw with my eyes. Of course, I was explained from Japanese to English what actually had transpired. The school teacher was taking a class of 30 students for a picnic. And Japanese are always in time, as you know. That's what you learn. It's not just their Shinkansen bullet trains. It's the Japanese. Nakamura-san would be early, never late, right? And if they are late, they would probably not get a sleep that night. They would feel as if they've committed some big, crime. And that's why, we talk about harakiris and all that, it's so sensitive. But one student was late by 5 minutes. And since they were all young children, the teacher thought that let us wait, because he had registered, and the student came running and said, "Sorry, teacher, it's just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes." And you know what the teacher said? "My young friend, it's not 5 minutes. You have made 30 of us wait, 29 students and me together, the 30th. So 30 into 5, it's 150 minutes that we have lost." What a wonderful way in putting across that thing. I can guarantee that child must never ever have been late in his life. Because નાનપણથી જ જ્યારે આ એક કલ્ચર ઇન્કલ્કેટ કરવામાં આવે, the discipline, the cordiality, the humility, you must have seen it. You've been there how many times? So many times. I am Anjana-san looking to my golden jubilee visit next year, and I'm going to have all of you, Ravan Bhai, will all go together, all our friends, because that will be the 50th year of the association. And just by sheer coincidence, I'm going to Japan tomorrow evening. This is going to be my 49th visit, actually, over all these years. And I've been to Japan in all seasons and in all places from north to south. And I think maybe, as they say, મારા પાછલા જીવનમાં જાપાન સાથેનો કંઈક એવો અનોખો નાતો હશે, હા. And that's why ઋણાનું બંધ છે તમે. So I never thought. Japan has always been in my home and heart. But I can never forget, let me tell you, કે Japanese families સાથે જ્યારે મારે રહેવાનું હતું, and I'm talking of 1972. Today, of course, you go to Japan, English is much more, understood because of the a lot of Western influence and culture and all that. પણ 1972 1972 I am talking, at that time it was, a challenge for our university also to arrange for us for the homestays. We had what in the university, we had an English speaking society, ESS as they used to call it. And some of the members of those ESS, they used to host, the students, but even they would be just broken English. And as far as you go in the family, nobody knows English. Naturally, we are not supposed to know Japanese. Pelivar. And I remember the first family with which I stayed, I was supposed to stay at their place for about 4 days in my first lot, over a weekend and then 2 days plus. I was in tension, they were in tension, and right and left pockets, there was no Google. Google Baba hata nahi ke tume tak 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 karine you find out, So we used to have dictionaries. So in one pocket Japanese to English, another pocket English to Japanese. And in the family also, they had done so much of rehearsal for me, okay, how to prepare and what to prepare and શું કરવાનું શું નહીં. First day અમે ત્યાં બેસીએ across, પેલા તતામી ઉપર ચટાઈની એના ઉપર ને પછી જમવાનું ને. We are looking at each other and then we are referring to dictionaries like this and this and this. Tough. Went on for a few minutes. But very soon, I realized and they realized, see, it's something like this. While I was having my meal, મને વિચાર આવે કે પાણી પીવું છે. So some kind of an expression on my face that I'm thirsty, and my host, mother, Okasan as we call, would get me a glass of water. મૂકી દે ત્યાં. મને એમ થાય કે હું તો બોલ્યો પણ નથી, ઓમિસુ કુદાસાઈ. Yeah. But you understand each other so well. And that is for the first time in my life, I said to myself that language is only a medium of communication. The real communication takes place through your feelings. Feelings. And language is never a barrier. You see, in any environment where you are, if you have the right vibrations, because I was so keen and anxious કે મારે જાપાનીઝ ફેમિલીમાં રહીને કંઈક જાણવું છે, શીખવું છે, આ કરવું છે. એમને પણ એટલું બધું હતું. અને let me tell you, in 4 days, પછી તો ડિક્શનરીઓને અમે રિટાયર કરી દીધી. And મેં કીધું આપણે ઈઝી છે, આપણે બોલવાનું તો આ ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું, એ જાપાનીઝમાં બોલે, પણ એકબીજાને સમજી જઈએ અમે, કે શું છે એનું હાર્દ એ આવી જાય. It comes. You must have experienced it when you went there, right? I was reading in your book. So this was so fascinating. અને 4 દિવસમાં અમારા સંબંધોના તાંતણા એવા બંધાયા. અને I tell you, I learned so many things. આખા દિવસના થાક્યા પાક્યા આવી એટલે આપણા ઘરમાં આપણે જેમ મૂકી દઈએ ને એમ પેલા બૂટ ટક દઈને મૂકી દીધા હોય ત્યાં, અને પછી ઊંઘી જઈએ. બીજે દિવસે સવારે હું ઉઠીને જોઉં તો બૂટ આમ ચકાચક પોલિશ થયેલા અને બરાબર ક્યાંક આપણે આડાવડા મૂક્યા હોય ગોઠવીને મૂક્યા. હું વિચારું કે આ ઘરમાં તો they don't have servants, house servants, તો આ કેવી રીતે થયું? એટલે મેં મારા જે ESSના મારા કલીગ ફ્રેન્ડ હતા એના જેના એ ઘરના દાદીમાં 85-year-old, આમ literally because of age and everything, તો કે છે કે એમને એ તમારા બૂટ અમારે ત્યાં એવું માને કે આડાવડા મૂક્યા તમે કે ગંદા મૂક્યા તો એ ના ચાલે. તો 85 years old એ મારા બૂટને લઈને પોલિશ સાફ કરીને મૂકે. I was so touched, tears rolled down my eyes. અને એ મારી સામે આમ જોઈને એટલા પ્રેમથી. મેં કીધું નેક્સ્ટ ડે ઓફકોર્સ આઈ કરેક્ટેડ માય સેલ્ફ. મેં કીધું આપણે જ્યાં છીએ તો વી હેવ ટુ ફોલો દેટ કલ્ચર. અને એ જે દિવસોમાં થોડા 4 દિવસમાં અમારા સંબંધોના એવા તાંતણા એમની જે એક ફાધર મધર ગ્રાન્ડમધર અને એમને એક છોકરો યુનિવર્સિટીમાં ભણે ને છોકરી છે નાની, શી વોઝ ઇન હાઈ સ્કૂલ, પિયાનો ખૂબ સરસ વગાડે. એને એટલો બધો ઉત્સાહ કે મુકેશને હું પિયાનો સંભળાવું, અને પિયાનો વગાડે ને હું એમાં ગરકાવ થઈ જાઉં. અને વોટ એવર શી વોન્ટેડ ટુ કન્વે કેમ થ્રુ દેટ મ્યુઝિક, થ્રુ ધ મ્યુઝિક. એટલે વોટ અ વન્ડરફુલ વે ઓફ એક્સપ્રેશન. 4 દિવસ પછી અમે છૂટા પડ્યા. મને બરાબર યાદ છે, અમે સ્ટેશન પર ગયા અને આઈ સેટ ઇન ધ ટ્રેન ને પેલા જે મારા જેપનીઝ મધર એ આમ દોડે, જેમ પેલા આપણું હિન્દી પિક્ચર આવ્યું હતું ને, પેલા ટ્રેનમાં જતા હોય ને દોડે, હા, મને આવજો કહેવા માટે, આવજો, સાયોનારા સાયોનારા મુકેશ, સાયોનારા. યુનિવર્સિટીમાં મને થોડા દિવસ પછી ધ વાઇસ ચાન્સલર કોલ્ડ મી, ડોક્ટર માનો, પટેલસાન, we have made some change in your family stay schedule. I said, what is it? તો કે જે ફેમિલીમાં તમે રહ્યા હતા એ લોકો તમે ગયા ત્યારથી they are so disturbed emotionally, they want કે તમે એટલીસ્ટ before you leave back for India તમે 2 દિવસ બીજા રહો એમની સાથે. It was such a, I went and spent there 2 more days. Then જેમ આપણે ત્યાં માલતીબેનને ખબર છે કે ફેરવેલ થાય અમારે ત્યાં ચેતર, એટલે ફેરવેલ થાય યુનિવર્સિટીનું, એમાં જે જેને ત્યાં આપણે હોમસ્ટે કર્યું હોય they would also speak something. So the Japanese mother એને ઓકાસાન એ ઊભા થયા અને જેપનીઝમાં કંઈક બોલ્યા અને then that was translated to me. થોડું ઘણું આમ તેમ સમજ્યું. And our first statement was, after the homestay of Mukesh with us in my family, we have decided not to have any more Indian exchange student at our home. આમ આપણને તો આમ આઘાત લાગે એવું સ્ટેટમેન્ટ, હા. પણ the secret unfolded in such a way, saying કે the joy and pleasure of meeting is so amazing, but then the sorrow and grief of parting is something we cannot bear. એક વાર આ થયું છે, હવે અમારે ફરી એ બેર નથી કરવું. And tears rolled down my eyes. After that, this will be my 49th visit. From the first visit to the 49th visit, without exception, today she is 92 years old, my Japanese mother. દાદાબેન પાસે છે, પણ થેન્ક યુ, ઇટ વુડ હેવ મેડ મી વેરી ઇમોશનલ. ધી વિડીયો ક્લિપ્સ પછીની ઓફ માય લેટર વિઝિટ્સ, આપણે ત્યાં ગયા ને જ્યારે કોબે ને તે વખતે હું રાતના આપણું ડેલિગેશનનું બધું પતે ને એને ત્યાં ઘરે હું જાઉં અને વુડ સ્પેન્ડ ટાઈમ ઇવન ઓન માય લાસ્ટ વિઝિટ. કોવિડ પછી તો she was in a senior citizens home because she lost her husband, she lost her son also. She and her daughter-in-law, they don't have any other child. એટલે તો એમને ખબર પડી કે હું આવ્યો છું જપાન, તો એને સિનિયર સિટીઝન્સ હોમ ઇટ્સ વેરી ડિફિકલ્ટ કે નહીં, મને રજા જોઈએ છે, છુટ્ટી જોઈએ છે, આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ ગો હોમ ઓન અ સન્ડે મોર્નિંગ એન્ડ આઈ વોન્ટ ટુ મીટ માય સન. અને પછી અમે મળીએ અને what I'm trying to tell you is that such bondings, are with, I have stayed with others also, and I think globally, when you have relations, but with the Japanese, I have had, આપણે જેમને પદ્મ ભૂષણનો અવોર્ડ આપવામાં આવ્યો, Mr. Misumi, Saichiro Misumi, who lived for 101 years and who supported me immensely in this my Japan-India friendship activities, because he was in charge of the Indo-Japanese Association in Tokyo. He used to say always, અને એમને ફોટોગ્રાફીનો બહુ શોખ. આ છેલ્લી વાત કરીને હું વિરમેશ, because otherwise I could be going on. he used to take lovely pictures. Only he and his wife. અને એટલા બધા ફ્લાવર્સના સરસ પિક્ચર્સ લેતો. Even I used to get very inspired and motivated, Sakura and Koyona fall and pictures. And then he would gift me those pictures. એટલે મેં વિસ્મી સાને કે મેં કહું, what has motivated and inspired you to take these pictures? And I was so touched. અને કે it's just me and my wife in home. And my wife, for the last so many years, she is paralyzed. She cannot move out. So what I do is I take all these pictures, I frame them, and they have small homes. Just by the side of the window, I put those pictures of sakura, fall. So she realizes how the seasons are changing because she cannot move out of the house also. And I said, what a wonderful way of expression, So many things. And on the lighter vein, tamne kahu, I think those who must have been to, how many of you have been to Japan by any chance? Of course, quite many. You would have experienced કે જાપાનમાં તમે જો ક્યાંક ભૂલા પડ્યા અને કોઈને પૂછો કે મારે ટોક્યો ટાવર જવું છે, તો એનું ચાલે તો એ તમને ત્યાંથી ટોક્યો ટાવર સુધી મૂકી જાય. At least it's very common. તમે કોઈકને બી even young guy, you ask him something, હા તમને નમી નમીને અને પછી કે ચાલો આવો 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 અને પાછો જોતો જાય કે તમે ફોલો કરો છો ને બરાબર, કેટલે સુધી મૂકી જાય ને પછી આમાં આમાં કરીને સાઇન કરી. સચ અરે you are meeting that guy for the first time. અહીંયા આગળ તો કોઈને પૂછો તો પેલો સામે ના જોઈએ અથવા તમે 2 વાર પૂછો તમને ગાળ દેવી, કેમ નો બીજો કઈ કામ ને ધંધો નથી અમારે કે આ બધું કરવાનું. See, you have so many things to learn from this, and that is the secret of this entire nation, which was burnt to the ashes, which rose like a phoenix. When you read the history of Japan. And the last thing I want to say, for me as a family, it was so nostalgic. My father, he went to Japan in those days when he was in college, in Ginyomaru, which was ship because there were no aircrafts, it's mostly they used to go by ship. And he had maintained a diary and kept it. So when I went to Japan, almost a little younger than him, I took that diary with him and I used to compare notes. He went in 1939 before the World War. And I went in 72. And then, by a happy coincidence, she'll remember my daughter was selected in the 25th year by the university. And I gave Dadaji's diary and Papa's diary and I said, now you write your diary. And then she came and she said, so this diary reminded me, diaries, they, of course, they can be politically sensitive also, as they say, but they can be your finest memories. And of course, the best of the memories, the diary is etched here, or in your mind or heart, wherever. But these are some of the most pleasant moments. And I'm very happy that with the help of my entire team at the Indo-Japan Friendship Association, so ably supported by AMA, which again, for me, AMA and Indo-Japan both are absolutely as if my golden possessions, and therefore I have nurtured them in the best way I can. But the combination of two has brought about wonders. And let me tell you, I want to just conclude by saying that this honorary consulship, as was mentioned, was actually created because, as you mentioned, the Japan-India diplomatic relations started 72 years ago. In 72 years, Japan never ever thought it necessary to have an honorary consul in India. They used to give these awards like the Order of the Rising Sun. And the ambassador, last year when he needed my consent, he had to call me and take me into conference. And he said, Patel-san, I want to tell you that we are not creating an office of an honorary consul in Ahmedabad or Gujarat. we were deliberating all along. And you remember he came here. Hiroshi Suzuki was here at our Japan festival along with the Consul General. And it was their unanimous decision. And they said, and I consider it great honor, not just for myself, I would say for both the associations, for my own state of Gujarat and my own country in that sense of the term, that they thought it fit that the work that we could do together for all these years, for over 5 decades, they felt that it should be recognized, it should be honored. And he said this, he said, we've given 50 orders of the rising sun to so many people. But we wanted to give you something which has never there been before. And that's why we are giving you this position. It was so touching. And normally, let me tell you, there's no secret now, any honorary consulship, because of the very protocol, you know, in the country of origin and here, it has to go through all ministries, external affairs and home and intelligence and whatnot, you know, including passing through the PMO and all that. It normally, the average time they say is not less than 18 months, sometimes 20, 24 months. If you're very lucky, it could be 15. In the speed of a bullet train, they did this in 5 months. And it came here. So I consider myself so fortunate. Thank you, Savanbhai. Thank you, Mahulbhai, for honoring me here. I think it's not just me. You have honored all the good work that we've been able to do together here at AMA in association with the Indo-Japan Association, with the support of so many of my colleagues. And as I always say, if you want to make dream work, you need teamwork. So teamwork has been, I've been exceptionally fortunate in having them. I want to take this opportunity to thank every one of them. And I would only say the next 5 years, starting from my next 49th visit that I'm taking, I have plans, and we would try to ensure to do a lot more beyond what we have been able to achieve during all these years. Thank you. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you so much.
So on behalf of AMA, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and one of you for coming for this remarkable book launch of Anju Ki Japan Diary. It was so nice to full appreciation to you. First time I saw you today, but you are a perfect blend between India and Japan. When I look at you and the way you speak, you can be both equally Indian and equally Japanese. So the style is very nice. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. And by the way, this book is available outside for whoever wants to purchase it at a discounted rate. I would also like my full gratitude to Mukesh Bhai. Mukesh Bhai, your emotional speech today and learning about bringing India and Japan so close is really commendable. And you know, you have been really like the backbone of AMA for carrying this legacy forward. So thank you very much for your very special and very frank and nice words on this great occasion. I see a lot of past presidents and members, so thank you for coming here. AMA will be reaching new heights with Dr. Savanbhai here, so we look forward for this legacy and very interesting events like this coming forward. So thank you very much, and a great round of applause for Mukesh Bhai and Anjana Bhai.